and welcome to episode number 2 of the Local Lowdown. My name is Zach Bischoff, and I am joined over there by.
Danny Shanhorn, sir.
All right, thank you, Danny. Good evening to you, and happy Friday. We're going to be posting this on Friday. How's your week going?
Going great, Zach, and excited to talk some sports with you, man.
All right, and speaking of sports, here is the agenda for today. We're first going to recap the Stanley Cup Final. So, Danny, as always, your thoughts on the Stanley Cup Final in Vegas, winning the Stanley Cup Final by a series score of 4-1.
Yeah, Zach. Well, I definitely was mistaken because for those that listened to our first episode podcast, I said that I think Florida is going to hang around and possibly take it to a game 7. Well, sitting here, 24 hours removed from Vegas beating them 9-3, I could not have been more wrong. And Zach, all the credit in the world to you, man, because you said I really think Vegas is going to win easily in 5 games, and that's what happened. No, but I mean,
they did win the last game by a score of 9-4, I believe. So it was a really dominant effort. And I'll let you continue here in a moment. But it was a really dominant effort by Vegas. I mean, the absence of Matthew Tkachuk really was present. That's one thing I really noticed was that Florida seemed overpowered by the unrelenting offense of Vegas.
Yeah, Zach. No, I was just going to touch on that, and actually, I just think, and we talked about this our first episode. That Matthew Tkachuk, was kind of he was the catalyst for the Florida Panthers really all playoffs long. He kind of got everything going. Obviously, him not being able to play, that obviously had an effect. And I also think, Zach, and we knew a score of like 9-3, was possible considering in game 1 Vegas beat Florida 7-2. I really thought that Florida, was going to kind of embrace the underdog mentality, and to their credit, they did it once. They did it once this playoffs to the Boston Bruins, which that was an incredible effort, and getting to the Stanley Cup Final is certainly an accomplishment. I just really think they ran out of gas, man, because Vegas is just they are so deep, they're so fast. I really was just so impressed. I mean, Mark Stone in his final game, Zach, their captain, scored a hat trick. So that was just was really cool to see, and I just from top to bottom, they did a heck of a job. I mean, Bruce Cassidy being in his first year, Zach, that's a heck of a way to start your tenure there, man.
Yeah, right. Thanks for extending that thought a little bit. I was not prepared for still making changes, but it was really pardon me, a fun series to watch, and it was Vegas, winning the cup. It was only their 6th season in existence in the National Hockey League. So, Danny, just your thoughts briefly.
I thought it was a really classy move too, Zach. Sorry to cut you off there, man. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a really classy move too by Bruce Cassidy to start the 5 guys that have been there since day 1. I thought that was super awesome of him to do. For those that maybe didn't watch the game, the 5 guys that have been with Vegas since their expansion got to start the last game of the Stanley Cup Final. I think that really kind of propelled them to victory. And Jack, how about our local? I still have a soft spot for him. Phil Kessel getting a
I was going to pick your brain on that too. That was my next thought. That was my next point. So you took that right out of my mind there. So any other thoughts on the Stanley Cup Final before I go into my brief remarks?
No, I mean I wonder if I do wonder if Phil Kessel did end up throwing up. He said it would be a great night if he didn't throw up. So I hope for Phil's sake that that didn't happen and they had a good time. Because I mean, after a 9-3 dominant performance like that, you deserve to have some fun.
Mhm. And David, just some thoughts, and that's my last point on the subject. Uh, on Vegas only taking 6 years in existence to win the cup. Just your thoughts on that. And for some teams, it's taken them; they've never won a cup, like the Flyers,
Yeah,
who have been in the league since 1967.
no, Zach, another great question, great point. Just because I think the reason for that is just commitment by ownership to bring the right type of guys in. I just Vegas, a lot of veterans on that team. Like they brought in a lot of veterans from the even in the expansion days, and obviously Bruce Cassidy's first year at the helm, but he's an experienced coach. So I really think it was just a commitment from the staff to really kind of build a winner, and I think that they would say that they were kind of building to this, that they always kind of had that goal in mind. And I think that's so cool that 6 years from now they dreamed of this day, and I think that's the ultimate. Seeing Vegas win is totally going to motivate teams like the Seattle Kraken to we can do this. I know we're coming out from I know we're getting a little bit of a late head start, but if we put right pieces in play from anything to like GMs to professional development guys to the right athletic trainers. Anything is possible. And I think you can, if you work hard like Vegas did, man. You can achieve anything, which I just think is very cool.
All right, thank you, Danny. Next, we are going to talk about the PGA Tour and Live Golf merger. Danny, just your brief thoughts on PGA and Live merging, and just your thoughts first on the Live Tour itself, and then second, what you think this merger can bring to the PGA Tour, and what the PGA can learn from merging with Live.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, Zach. Great question. Great, lot of stuff in there. So I'll do my best to tackle all of it. I just the thing about the PGA and Live partnership, I think it's crazy to me how two rival companies in this have have become partners in the span of a month or two. I'm not exactly sure when the Live Tour officially came about, but I mean, man, I am just it kind of came out of the blue on a random Tuesday in June here, and I was reading kind of the players' reaction a little bit, and a lot of the players that this obviously affects said they found out via like Twitter and other social medias, which I thought was pretty funny and just kind of pretty crazy how we are getting news nowadays. Which is, I mean, kind of cool to see. But yeah, Zach, I don't really know how to feel about this, man, because the Live Tour has always kind of been the new kid um on the block, and the PGA is more traditional. Um, and I think there is an elements that I like of both. I like the Live Tour. They obviously offered a ton of money for guys to come and play in their events, and they offered a ton of prize money. But with the PGA too, it's like guys that are household names in the PGA have worked to get to that point. So I just don't know how they're both gonna kind of benefit here, if that makes sense, Zach.
Yeah, I think great stuff. I think the this will be interesting, but I think we're gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. Um, I'm hearing something that the PGA Tour is going to penalize PGA Tour players that went to play for Live Tour. However, I have not seen much concrete information on that front, so I'm not going to. I don't know why I even said that, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, and Zach, that brings up a interesting and hard topic because I really do feel bad for the guys that stayed kind of loyal to the PGA Tour and didn't go didn't accept the live tour money. So now we're kind of back to square one, and I people talk, maybe about having like maybe players of four like rounds of kind of having a I don't know. I'm not the biggest golf watcher, but having kind of like a scramble kind of. So that'll be interesting to see kind of how everybody gets paired up. What it actually looks like. How they balance everything, because I think ultimately the PGA and Live Tour, because they partner, they want similar things. I just think it's going to be like very interesting to watch. Like, can they agree on the things that they're actually going to put out there, the events they're actually going to put on? Because obviously there's a reason why. Zach, they started divided. You know what I mean?
Right. I like the. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out because I don't think players should be penalized. I'm trying to find where I originally saw that before. I believe it was ESPN on Twitter, but I can no longer find that.
Well, and I think that kind of defeats the purpose too of why you're even merging, because you want all the all kind of, I don't want to say household names, but all relevant golfers, and a lot of those guys that went to the Live Golf Tour were just kind of looking out for just wanted to kind of experiment with a new like a I don't know new event,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing I like about Live is, and my question to you, Danny, is knowing Live, they have they have the team structure, right, and they have golfers on teams, right, and they all go out, they all play their own their own 18 hole rounds, right, and then they all the scores combine into one score. So my question to you, Danny, is: do you think, as a result of this merger, we see something like the PGA incorporating a team aspect into its game or into its product?
Well, yeah. I think they are going to, because I think that's like one of the reasons why they partnered, because they see kind of they see the new kind of, I don't want to say the new formats that Live has experimented with. I again though, Zach, like to your point, like how are they going to the PGA's never been like a team structured like that, so it's just kind of new territory for all parties. We never really had this.
It should be interesting to see how that plays out. I have not seen anything as far as when that will go into effect and any and all changes that will be made. We will report on that further as we get new information. My apologies if your sirens in the background. I have no idea what in the world is going on outside, but we are going to move past that. All right. Next we have wonders of data. Anyway, we are next going to move on to our final topic. Actually, it may not be a final topic. I'll talk to you after the second, Danny. We're going to next talk about the Steelers and their off season. Here's the Danny, just your thoughts on just the Steelers off season so far, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure, Zach. Football off seasons, there's always a lot to unpack. So I'm looking forward to doing that with you, Zach. I guess kind of the most recent and relevant, not the most recent development that we've had is rumors that Washington Commanders defensive end Chase Young may be traded to the Steelers. What are your thoughts on those reports,
Hmm.
Zach? Like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think about that, man?
I have not seen any of those reports unless I just broke today. I have not seen anything on it, so I can't really give an opinion on it yet. I'll have to look for look for more information on that. But I think that would be certainly be interesting if that actually is true.
No, I totally agree with you, Zach. Because after all, they are just rumors, right? They're haven't been really any serious, like Ian Rappaport saying that Chase Young will be traded or anything like that. Um, but I think Chase Young, has been one of the few bright spots in the Washington Commanders organization. He's a guy that had a fantastic rookie season in 2020. Former number two overall pick. So I mean, there were tons and tons of talent there. He was sidelined a little bit for those that might not be Commanders fans. Sidelined in 2022 because of an ACL injury. I believe that took he got injured in 2021, but obviously was out for the majority of 2022 season. So there he hasn't played in a lot of meaningful football games, and it's been a while since he's gotten a full season under his belt. I just think, and I'm trying not to get too excited, but I thinking about Zach, thinking about TJ Watt, right, Cameron Hayward, and Chase Young, and having Alex Highsmith as a guy that we can bring in when those guys are tired. When Alex Highsmith is at 100%, like I that defense, man, it's hard not to get super excited about that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think the Steelers are going to do. I think they're going to. I think they're going to kind of overlook this year. So I think they'll be. I mean, with Roderick Jones coming in, I think the Steelers had one of the best drafts they've ever had, at least in my lifetime. Um, but Danny,
Yeah,
I want to get
definitely.
your thoughts on this. Matt Canada, he was on 93.7 The Fan, local sports station here in the area, and he was posed the question, or he it was quoted as saying, let me get the exact quote for you. Let me pull it up here. Danny, just gab for a minute while I pull this up.
No, Zach. Again, to your point, a lot of the national media may be overlooking the Steelers. But to your point, I really think the Steelers kind of nailed the draft. I looking very much looking forward to see how Broderick Jones develops. And we'll get into this too, but from the reports at minicamp, the competition between Broderick Jones and Dan Moore has been very good, and the offensive line coach did say, that is a competition. But to your point, Zach, I think that Matt Canada, you obviously pull up the quote. But this is definitely a prove it year for him because I really think previous years our weakness has been the O line, and I really think we are definitely moving in the right direction in that regard because we did draft Broderick Jones and we got guys like Chusakor for and again along those lines too, we brought in Allen Robinson as a free agent wide receiver. So I really think this is going to be a year that is definitely more results driven than idea driven for Matt Canada. He's got a last year he was widely criticized, and we'll see kind of how he reacts to or how he kind of the way in which the Steelers kind of decide to play the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, so Matt Canada in a radio interview with Yinton Filipponi of 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh said, and I quote, "It's not like I'm coming in here and deciding what the offensive plan is." Now, my thoughts on that. You're the offensive coordinator. Now, I don't think you should discuss your schemes on radio, but I mean, yeah, I don't really know what. I mean, he kind of is the offensive coordinator. I mean, he's keeping everything locked up tight. I mean, who's really listening in from other teams, you know? Because this is a
Yeah,
local station. You can only get in the surrounding area here. So I don't really know
that
what he's trying to keep from us. Is that? And I think this could be. This is what I think. A reply here says, "Is that another way of saying that head coach Mike Tomlin is calling the shots on offense?" Any of your thoughts on that?
yeah, I was surprised when I heard that quote as well because obviously it seemed a little bit defensive for Matt Canada there a little bit. One, I'm not the one entirely in charge of the calling the plays or whatnot. I mean, that kind of is in your job
Yeah,
description
job
if you're the
description there,
offensive coordinator. And
yeah,
it, if nothing else, Zach, if nothing else, you obviously should take responsibility, for the offense. I think Matt Canada. I don't know kind of his philosophy. I really really hope that he gives Kenny Pickett even more free range because I think that a lot and Steelers fans that would listen to this podcast know a lot of my frustration, Zach, was just not giving playmakers a chance to make plays. I think he talked about how he did. What annoyed me, Zach, is he just kind of deflected the questions a little bit. And I know it's mini camp and everything like that, but I definitely want to hear. Okay, yeah, George Pickens. We want to target him a little bit more because when we throw in the ball, good things happen. I
right.
wanted to hear a little bit more of that. To your point, it seemed a little bit. I don't kind of deflecting that question a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I do think that I do agree with that one reply that said Tomlin might call the shots on offense, and I think that is true. I think that Tomlin, well, he doesn't call all of the plays. I sure as heck think he called some of the plays. And I do think we do need to get George Pickens the ball more, and I do think we need to stop throwing it 2 yards on a 3rd and 12. That is one of my
Yeah.
annoyances with the Matt Canada system, is that if it's 3rd and 15, he'll throw it 5 yards behind the sticks.
That is that 100%, Jack, and I think that I really want to believe that he's going to give Kenny Pickett the chance to make plays because I, for one, Zach, Kenny Pickett coming in year two, I really, really want Kenny Pickett to really kind of get the full experience of really taking charge and he obviously gave him a little bit of free range in the 2 minute drill. But in the 2 minute drill, there was hardly anybody more efficient than Kenny Pickett, Zach. So give him more opportunities to throw the ball downfield. I mean, that's what he did at Pitt. He's
Yeah.
got the that's why we drafted him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as a replacement to Ben Roethlisberger, and I think that it was a steal getting him at number 20. But I think it was he'll be really good in a couple of years, along with George Pickens. We say Pickett to Pickens will be the new 1-2 punch there. So, any final thoughts before we wrap it up for today?
Yeah, no, exactly. I just wanted to get your while we're kind of talking about the draft and promising young talent. Do you think that Joey Porter Jr. has a chance to start? Because I really think I am everything that I've been reading and hearing. I it seems that he's kind of in the right direction. Again, I think that's why they drafted him to be kind of a week one starter. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think no, I haven't seen many reports on him, but I think that I think a majority of this year's draft class has a chance to start. And I think Broderick Jones. I think he should start. Hopefully, he won't commit as many holding penalties as Dan Moore Jr. Did last year. So hopefully that won't cripple our offense. But I think Broderick Jones needs to start. Um, and I want to get your thoughts briefly on Allen Robinson. What you think he'll his effect will be in the wide receiver room.
Yeah, Zach, that's a great point on the O line, and to your point, I think the reason why we draft guys higher up is so that they start, so that they get experience, and so that we can really see where they're at. I think that's why we draft guys. You know, um, it like that's why guys are first and second round picks. But to your point, Zach, I keep saying to your point, but it's because you're making so many good ones. But Allen Robinson, a veteran guy that I think will hopefully lead and mentor this relatively young wide receiver room, because you got to think too. Um, I'm really intrigued to see, can Calvin Austin be a version of Tyreek Hill? Can he be that slot receiver that is just? I mean, we know he's fast, but can Allen Robinson, an established guy, a veteran guy, kind of later in his career? I think that he's definitely going to be a production guy, Zach. He's definitely going to just he seems like a guy that makes the right plays, Zach. So I was really uh, pleased to see that we brought him in, and along with that, Isaac Siamalo too. I think he's another veteran offensive lineman that's going to help us out, Zach.
All right, great stuff, Danny. Once again, any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
No, no, Zach. I'll always second episode of the Local Lowdown here, so really enjoyed it, man.
Oh yes, also the local lowdown is now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and soon to be iHeartRadio. And we are also going to be publishing our video episodes to Spotify as well as our YouTube channel. So I will work on that before we post our next one. But until next time, he is Danny Shamhunter. I am Zach Bischoff, and we will see you next time right here on the Local Lowdown podcast.